afternoon. My name is Doug Shipman. I am the Atlanta City Council President, and I am calling this regularly scheduled meeting Monday, April 18th to order. I want to welcome everybody back, especially after the slew of holidays that we've had, Ramadan, Passover, and Easter. It's good to see everyone back together again. Mr. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
President Doug Shipman.
Present.
Council members, Post 1 at large, Michael Julian Bond. Post 2 at large, Matt Westmoreland. Here. Post 3 at large, Keisha Shawn Waits. Council District 1, Jason Winston. Here. Council District 2, Amir Faroki. Here. Council District 3, Byron Amos. Here. Council District 4, Jason Dozier. Present. Council District 5, Liliana Bakhtiari. Here. Council District 6, Alex Wan. Here. Council District 7, Howard Shook. Council District 8, Mary Norwood. Here. Council District 9, Dustin Hillis. Council District 10, Andrea L. Boone. Council District 11, Marcy Collier Overstreet. Present. Council District 12, Antonio Lewis.
Let's go.
Amen. Quorum present.
Mr. Clerk, I would note that Councilmember Waits is in attendance. Thank you. I would now entertain an adoption of the agenda, which was distributed prior to the meeting. Is there a motion to adopt? Moved by Mr. Wan, seconded by Ms. Norwood. Mr. Clerk, would you please open the vote on the adoption of the agenda?
Please hold. The vote is now open.
Waits is aye.
Will everyone please vote? Please vote.
Waits is aye.
The vote is now closed. 13 yeas, 0 nays.
13 yeas, 0 nays. The agenda is adopted as printed. It is now my pleasure to invite a friend and a friend to many, the Executive Director of the Islamic Speakers Bureau, Samaya Khalifa, to join us and bring an invocation. Thank you for being here.
Greetings of peace. A 12-year-old girl moved from Alexandria, Egypt to Dallas, Texas, many, many years ago. She did not speak English, only Arabic and French. Her parents thought that they would be in the U.S. for just 1 year. The family has been here for decades now. This little girl is me. And I never thought that one day I will be standing here in front of you giving the invocation for the City Council. Thank you, Council President Doug Shipman, for the invite. On behalf of the more than 125,000 Atlanta Muslims and over 150,000 Georgia Muslims, I bring you greetings of peace. We're in a time where several of our faith traditions are observing or celebrating major events such as Easter, Passover, and Ramadan. The Muslim communities join our sisters and brothers from all communities to pray for peace in our city, our state, and the world. Let us pray. In the name of God, the most gracious, most merciful, all praise is due to God, Lord of the universe, the most gracious, the most merciful, owner of the day of judgment. You alone do we worship, and you alone do we turn to for help. God bless City Council President and members, the women and men who work hard to make Atlanta the beloved community. Please bless their actions. Pray for our mayor, various levels of city officials, and in particular, this assembled council. I'm asking that you would graciously grant them purification of intentions and actions to serve the people they represent, wisdom to govern amid the conflicting interests and issues of our times, a sense of the welfare and true needs of our people, a keen thirst for justice and righteousness, confidence in what is good and fitting, the ability to work together in harmony even when there is an honest disagreement, personal peace in their lives and joy in their work. I pray for the agenda set before them today. God, I pray that our beloved city of Atlanta, the home of Martin Luther King Jr., John Lewis, Shirley Franklin, Andrew Young, and Jimmy Carter, remains a beacon of light, justice, safety, equality, and freedom in the world. May Atlanta be an ongoing example for what a beloved community is. It is in your most blessed name that we pray. Amen.
While we're in a moment of reflection, I just want to acknowledge the passing of Dr. Thomas Cole, former president of Clark Atlanta University, who passed last week. Any other reflections, Councilmember Boone?
Yes, I too would like to offer condolences to Judge Brenda Cole, who was at the forefront of the civil rights student movement in the Atlanta University Center. We lost her husband, Thomas Cole, who meant so much to the city of Atlanta. He served as president of West Virginia State University from 1982 until 1986, and then was appointed chancellor of the West Virginia Board of Regents. He was one of 4 African Americans to lead a state system of public higher education at the time. He was right there when Clark Atlanta merged with Atlanta University. So we offer condolences to the children and to Judge Brenda Cole. Thank you. Also, we have condolences for longtime city employees, Sabrina and Quinn Hunter, who lost their mother, a member of the Westview community, Miss Norma Hunter, longtime members of Mount Ephraim. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Any other reflections this time, Mr. Shook?
Yeah, thank you. I want to remember Dwayne Haskins Jr., who escaped what must have seemed to be a really impossible childhood and went on to become a multiple record holder in the sport and a national champion, and who tragically died at age 24 last week, thus reminding us of what former Council President Lisa Borders used to warn us of, which is nobody is promised tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you. Any others? Thank you all. Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance at this time? Thank you. We are commencing again with public proclamations, commendations, and special awards. It is a pleasure to be able to do that following the pandemic restrictions. We have a few today. First, I would like to call 22P0002. It is a recognition of the Deputy Chief Celeste M. Murphy. It is offered by Council Members Boone and Overstreet.
For all those that are here for our newest chief, please line up in the front, and will Chief Rodney Bryant, Sheriff Melanie Mitchell, and family members come up. quickly.
Where's the honor guard?
Right here. Right here. Right here. Right here. The honor guard is here.
I thought they were going to do something.
Oh, I told them to stand up right there. Right there. Right there. Right there. Stop right there. They can come on. Let them come on. Come on.
Where is Chief Bryant?
Handily. This is your counsel later. I'm gonna let her go. You belong to both of us, though.
While everyone is getting settled, I just want to say a few words. So this presentation really, any one of us could actually host this gathering, because Chief Murphy is just that special. So I will get it all started, but this is not just my day. This is not just my thing. This is all of us. All of the council members have had great relationships with the chief. And Chattanooga is so lucky to have her to be their first African-American chief police. Not only that, as a woman, she's doing it. So because she will do a phenomenal job, she's the first, but she will absolutely not be the last. When she was our Zone 4 commander, no matter how many times I called her to meet me at a meeting or texted her any time of day or night, she was so responsive, and she showed up on the spot at all of the meetings, ready to go, so much so that I have fond memories of us sitting at meetings, and sometimes the actual the people that called us because they said they felt so unsafe and we were not doing a good job, but they started turning and telling on each other. When Deputy Chief Murphy at the time and I would be at those meetings, and I knew then that we were doing what we were supposed to do, they started telling on each other. And I said, this is wonderful. So it is a pleasure to do this for you today. Thank you so much for allowing us to do this for you today. I know that it's not easy for you, and it's all over your face. But you deserve it, and I'm thankful that you allowed us to do this for you today.
First of all, I'm Sheriff Melody Madison. I want to thank you for the opportunity to be able to stand here and speak on behalf of my good friend, my sister, not only in blue, but my sister in Christ. She is a leader, and she leads with excellence. She leads with accountability. She leads with respect. I'm so honored to have been a part of her being appointed as the first African-American female chief of police of Chattanooga Police Department, being that my family, my parents, are actually from Chattanooga, Tennessee. So I know from whence it's come, and I know what Chattanooga is receiving, and I'm so proud of you, and we love you.
Deputy Chief Timothy Peake. And I'm for Coy on the spot. Coy on the speak.
Good afternoon, and thank you, Chief Murphy. I guess I'm having to take orders from her already. Look at that right here. Bossy, but we love her. So if I could just share just some short words for my friend Chief Murphy, which I so eloquently call Celeste, because we've been true friends for such a long time. She's always been a great inspiration, a great source of encouragement, and just a great person to have in your presence to bounce things off of and to talk and really and truly work together. As already been stated by Councilwoman Overstreet, we know for absolute certainty that the state of Tennessee, particularly the city of Chattanooga, will have a great benefit from Chief Murphy being there and serving in that particular position. We certainly welcome and wish her well in all of her endeavors. We had an opportunity at her installation just to really and truly share a word of prayer, just to send her off on the best opportunity that we could through God. And what I would tell you is, that we were all lifted extremely high with the Spirit to understand exactly what is taking place and really and truly looking forward to great successes. And so we won't say goodbye, but we'll say hello, because we know that this is just the start of branching out and building law enforcement networks even bigger and better. So there will still be a benefit from the city of Atlanta for having her in that position. And for that, we say thank you. Well done. And we love you.
Retired Assistant Chief Todd Coit. Look at you. We ain't seen you like this before. You had time to come up with something.
Hello, everybody. I want to say thank you for honoring Celeste or Chief Murphy. Everyone has already talked about how great she was or is as a police officer and as a chief. But I want everyone to also know that she's a wonderful human being. She's a wonderful mother. And Chattanooga, they're getting a good one. Celeste kept us straight. As Councilmember Overstreet just said, she could see it on her face that she did not want to be up here. Celeste would never bite her tongue with us, and we could always tell when she had something to say because she couldn't keep it inside. It would always show on her face. So I want to say congratulations and thank you all. Thank you all the council members for recognizing her. Thank you.
Chief Murphy, on behalf of all of the little girls in the city of Atlanta that dare not to think that they can be a chief, we are so proud of you. We thank you. We thank you on behalf of the people of Atlanta. This is a special recognition award from members of the Atlanta City Council. Special Recognition Award presented to Chief Celeste M. Murphy in recognition of your 25 years of service to the city of Atlanta. You have influenced and inspired citizens of Atlanta for going above and beyond the call of duty in responding to and providing leadership to the citizens and city of Atlanta. We commend you.
Good afternoon. I'm Dustin Hillis, Chair of the Public Safety and Legal Administration Committee. And just before I read this, I just want to again thank now Chief Murphy for her a quarter of a century of service to the city of Atlanta. I know you're very happy you're not going to get the tough questions from the Public Safety Committee anymore, but you have a mayor to answer to now. But as I stated before, I am a former resident of Tennessee. I grew up in Tennessee and drive through Chattanooga, so I'm going to be looking out when I drive through Chattanooga on the way home to see my folks every now and then. So this is a proclamation by the Atlanta City Council in recognition of Deputy Chief Celeste M. Murphy, whereas the Atlanta City Council is proud to recognize Celeste Murphy, former Deputy Chief of the Atlanta Police Department, following her recent appointment as Chief of Police for the Chattanooga Police Department, and whereas Chief Murphy's appointment is historic as she is the first woman and the first black woman to serve as Chief of Police for Chattanooga, Tennessee, and whereas Murphy joined Atlanta's police department in 1997, during her tenure, she served at every rank and was either assigned to or supervised all sections of the department, and whereas since 2015, she served as a captain, night commander, and later the assistant commander of the department's code enforcement section. She was later appointed to the rank of major. She eventually became the precinct commander in South Atlanta and later commanded the precinct in Southwest Atlanta. She was the first woman in the department's history to command 2 precincts, and whereas as deputy chief, she led 4 different departmental divisions consecutively, the only individual to do so. Her final position was Division Commander of the Support Services Division, where she managed a budget of $230 million that included human resources, background and recruitment, property and evidence management, logistics, the crime lab, and the academy. And whereas she is a native of New York City, and a proud mother of 4 children. She holds a bachelor's degree in mathematics from Syracuse University and a master's degree in criminal justice from St. Leo University. She is also a graduate of the Police Executive Research Forum's Senior Management Institute for Police, Northwestern University School of Police Staff and Command, and the Atlanta Police Leadership Institute. Additionally, she is a member of the National Organization of Black Law Enforcement Executives, the Police Executive Research Forum, and, the International Association of Chiefs of Police, and a past board member of Atlanta Metropole. And whereas she has served with distinction and her tireless contributions to law enforcement have made the city of Atlanta a safer community. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the members of the Atlanta City Council, on behalf of the citizens of Atlanta, do hereby recognize Celeste Murphy, the Atlanta Police Department's former deputy chief, following her appointment as chief of police for the Chattanooga Police Department. We wish her well and remain thankful for her service, and it is signed by the council president and all members of City Council. Thank you, Chief Murphy.
Thank you, Chief Rodney Bryant, for seeing the greatness in Celeste Murphy. Thank you, Chief Bryant, who was here earlier. Thank you. And now our president, Mr. Doug Shipman.
It is always bittersweet to see someone of such talent leave, but it is always a compliment to you and to all that you've done for this promotion. We wish you the very, very best in Chattanooga.
Speech.
What else is on the agenda? I'm going to make sure I help some people out and make it real long so y'all could just... I am extremely overwhelmed by this. As Councilmember Overstreet said, I really am kind of shy, no matter what you hear. So I don't really like all of this and everything. Now, mind you, keep doing it. I didn't say don't do it. I just saying that, I'm shy. Everything that I've done, I just did it. It wasn't about, recognition. It wasn't really about taking credit for a lot, even though I rub it in. Chief Coit, Chief Peak, Chief Hampton, everybody, all of my cohorts, I rub it in their faces, but I really didn't do it for that. So this is really, really, really overwhelming to me. I'm just so full of pride right now. And I have to thank the city of Atlanta for making this is my second home, and the majority of my life has been here, and I've learned so much about me. I've learned so much about our history from coming here, and it made me undoubtedly a better law enforcement professional. And I will take that with me to Chattanooga, which in itself has its own rich history. But if you've seen it in Atlanta, you've seen it all. And so I think I'm ready to handle anything at this point. And thank you, everybody, for this. Thank you so much.
Good sharp. Yeah, good. Like a watch, like a timepiece. I'm standing taking pictures. You taking small pictures? Sorry.
What up? How are you? Good. I'm well. You all right? Good.
Sorry.
It must be over it. So if we can get the, oh, you guys taking more pictures? If I can get the St. Jude's group to come up for the next proclamation.
Hello. How you doing? Haven't seen you yet.
I know. Good to see you.
I'm gonna put this right here because I don't want to do the picture.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to invite Councilmember Overstreet for a proclamation in recognition of St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Councilmember Overstreet.
We'll let everyone come on up. We have room right on this side too. So everyone here for St. Jude, come over to this side. Both sides. I was just saying, let's spread out some. You can come on over, right along here. How are you? Good. Okay. So our next proclamation is for recognition of St. Jude's Research Hospital. And we all know who St. Jude's is, but do we really know? And this particular proclamation day is to make sure that if you don't know, once we leave here today, you should absolutely know how impactful St. Jude has been in our communities, especially the African American communities. St. Jude has made it so that families that cannot afford to take care of their children with cancer don't have to sit at home awake at night wondering if their child is going to get the proper care. They follow sick children from the beginning, through surgery, through actual, thank you, through all of the processes necessary in order to get the child well, traveling for the parents, everything. St. Jude takes care of it so that you can actually just take care of your children. And I know that we have plenty of us that get those stickers in the mail with the mailing, yeah, seriously, with the mailing labels that I know I have. And I've actually sent in checks before becoming a councilwoman and last year. But we want to do more. So today is about kicking off the giving circle and really telling people and educating everyone about the importance of St. Jude's in our African American communities and throughout all of our communities. So that's what this proclamation is about. I'm going to just read the proclamation, and then I'd also like to bring up Alicia Ivy and Tiffany Rowan while I read the proclamation, because they're actually going to give you more information. You guys both come on up. They're going to give you more information and just introduce you to the teams that have been in the trenches, making sure that all of our families are well taken care of. So the proclamation reads, in recognition of St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, whereas the City of Atlanta City Council is proud to recognize St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital and its mission to serve the advancement of pediatric medicine through cutting-edge research and progressive treatment. Whereas St. Jude Children's Research Hospital is celebrating 60 years as a champion of pediatric care, serving more than 8,000 patients each year with life-threatening diseases. And whereas in 1962, the founder, Danny Thomas, used his fame to inspire and change the lives of children worldwide, opening St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital in Memphis, Tennessee. And whereas through its research and technology, St. Jude Children's Research Hospital has increased the survival rate of children suffering from cancer to more than 80% since opening its doors. And whereas during the annual St. Jude Evening of Hope and kickoff of the Circle of Giving, St. Jude Children's Research Hospital honors Dr. Rudolph Jackson, one of the first African American doctors at St. Jude. And whereas following a promise from Thomas that African Americans will be hired as researchers and doctors, Dr. Jackson became a pioneer and medical expert in the treatment of sickle cell and cancer during an age when hospitals were segregated across the South and parts of the North. And whereas St. Jude's Atlanta African American Advisory Council, led by Atlanta native Alicia Ivy, Chair, and Cynthia Williams, Vice Chair, and I did see Cynthia here also. Thank you, Cynthia. The mission to share St. Jude Children's Research Hospital's vision is to continue to seek meaningful opportunities to engage diverse communities. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the members of Atlanta City Council, on behalf of the citizens of Atlanta, do hereby recognize St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, its founder, Danny Thomas, and Dr. Rudolph Jackson during the institution's celebration of 60 years of pediatric medicine and research. And it is signed by President Shipman and all of the Atlanta City Council. And so I'd like for everyone to just take a moment to hear from this leadership that's here with us today. Ms. Ivy is going to introduce us to everyone.
Sure. Thank you so much, Honorable Councilwoman Marcy Overstreet. First and foremost, I would like to say Atlanta is the greatest city on the globe. And so I am absolutely proud to be here with you and the leadership. So thank you very much. And thank you for celebrating the rich history of St. Jude. I am here with leadership, and I am here with some wonderful people who believe in the mission of St. Jude. Atlanta is the home of the civil and human rights, and health care is a human right. And that is why I am so amazed and thrilled to be chairing this committee to make sure and ensure that children, not only in the city of Atlanta, but in this nation and globally, have a chance at great health care. At St. Jude, we will not stop and we won't stop until each and every child has an opportunity. I'm going to hand it over to my sister in service, Tiffany Rowan, who serves as the director of St. Jude.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Miss Ivy has been such a staunch supporter, and so I do want to publicly thank her for everything that she's done, as well as Cynthia Williams, our vice chair of this African American Council. And let me say that 60 years ago, our founder, Danny Thomas, made a commitment, and that commitment was to do all that he could to ensure that no child would die in the dawn of life. And it wasn't just some children. It was all children, regardless of race, ethnicity, or socioeconomic status. And still today, that is why St. Jude, the actual children's research hospital, sits in Memphis, Tennessee, as one of the first integrated hospitals of this nation. And that's something that we continue to be very proud of. And since its inception in 1962, we have done tremendous work in cancer research to bring childhood survival rates from 20% when they first started to 80% as of today. And we are committed to continue until that number is 100%. And due to the brilliant minds of doctors like Dr. Jackson, we have also done tremendous research in sickle cell, as we know, a disease that affects communities of color primarily. And we actually still today treat over 900 sickle cell patients per year, many of whom live right here in the metro Atlanta area. So St. Jude is a unique hospital because we are a children's research hospital, but our mission and our processes make us extraordinarily unique, because not only do we treat children who need us, but we make sure that their families never receive a bill for treatment, housing, travel, food, anything throughout the entire course of their treatment and their care. And that's something that's very unique. So the introduction of our African American Advisory Council here in the Metro Atlanta area, it's a continuation of that commitment that Danny Thomas made. It's another way for us to continue to genuinely connect with the African American community here in the Metro Atlanta area, to allow the community to know what resources we offer as a specialty hospital if their children were ever to need us. And it's an opportunity for us to continue to share our message and garner more support so that we can continue to move our message forward. So on behalf of the entire St. Jude family, I do want to thank Councilwoman Overstreet for this amazing honor and proclamation today, and this council as a whole. Thank you so much for this. This is an amazing honor for us to have. We cherish it dearly. And before we go, I do want to bring up, we mentioned Dr. Jackson, one of our pioneers, first African American physician that was handpicked by Danny Thomas to work at St. Jude Hospital, where his daughter, Kelly Alexander, is with us today, and I would like her to come up and say a few words.
Good afternoon, and thank you. I would be remiss if I did not have my husband, Officer Chad Alexander, is here with me. On behalf of our family, this is my daughter, Kayla Alexander. On behalf of my sister, Kimberly, my brother, Rudolph Jr., and the Jackson family, my husband, Chad, and Kayla, we just want to thank you for allowing us to stand in for my dad. My dad passed in August of last year, and being a pediatrician and helping children and research was his life. And if he were here today, he would say, oh, all of this proclamation, that's too much. Don't do all that for me. But it's really nice, is exactly what he would say. But as they were saying, my father did come down, Dr. Donald Pinkle and Danny Thomas. I actually found the letter of acceptance that they offered my father and some of his belongings when he came down to St. Jude. So I definitely have framed that. I'd love to give that to St. Jude. But he's made that his life's work to make certain that all children of any type of cancer or solid tumors or what have you have a chance to be treated. And if he could be on the forefront to do that, he would. And he would be beyond honored to stand here and to receive this proclamation, to be amongst such a wonderful group of people who are continuing to spearhead all the efforts that St. Jude has. And I pray that they continue and that each child has an opportunity to get better, because that would be my father's dream. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kayla Alexander, and I am the granddaughter of Dr. Rudolph Jackson. And thank you, everyone, and to St. Jude for recognizing my papa.
So, you know, there are a couple of people in the world that makes the world go round, right? And they make the world just greater and brighter. And so I want to bring up a gentleman by the name of Christopher Beck. He makes the world go round at St. Jude. And then there's another young lady, too, by the name of Alex. These young people are some of the greatest leaders for the future at St. Jude, and I'm so proud to have them make sure to keep us in line and make sure that we're doing the good work and fight the great fight that we need to for all of our children. And we have a lot of great folks that are here behind us. We have the CEO of the Fulton DeKalb Hospital Authority, Mr. Javon Gibson. We have one of our legacy leaders, Miss Linda Jordan. We have my sister in service who is here with the Giving Circle. She did tell me her name early, Miss Joy Webb. She's here to do her work with us. The incomparable Miss Cynthia Williams, who serves as a past president of the Links and the Coalition of 100 Black Women. We also have Mr. Otis Threet, who makes sure to represent the 100 Black men. I think somebody's heard of the 100 Black men. Yeah. Of course, we have our friends here. Come on up now. Now you're going to have to tell me your name. He's very sharply dressed. Tell me your name again.
It is Rick Cedarberg.
Mr. Rick Cedarberg, and he is joined with?
Shyam Muhammad.
Tell me your name, please.
Shyam Muhammad.
Shyam Muhammad. These are friends of ours of St. Jude, who's making sure to continue the fight. I have my chairwoman, Miss Catherine Flowers, that's with us. Please say hello, Fulton DeKalb Hospital Authority.
Thank you. Hello.
My sister in service, my mentor, my friend, and the past president of 100 Black Women, Miss Karen Duckett. First Lady, come on up. Ashley Moreau of Cascade United. Also, we have Pastor Eric Thomas that's with us. He just gets one clap. And this is one of the most greatest doctors that we have in the city. I'm going to let her introduce herself.
Dr. Dawn Samad with Kairos Time Clinics. Thank you.
Okay. Also, I have Miss Viva Jones. She's with us. She's also fighting the fight.
Yes.
And last but certainly not least, we have these two gentlemen. We're going to make it quick because we know that time is of the essence. Please tell us who you are.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kelvin Wisenhunt, but that's PhD, not DR, so I'm not one of the great ones.
No, you're great. You're great. Thanks for coming.
Yes.
Good afternoon. I'm Herman Mason.
These are the leaders that we have fighting the fight for us today at St. Jude in Atlanta, and we thank you. We thank this great city of Atlanta for this opportunity and for this proclamation and celebration today. Thank you, Councilwoman Overstreet and the City Council of the City of Atlanta.
My pleasure. Council members, can we all gather so we can take a quick picture? We're going to go up here. Okay.
Man, that might work, buddy. Y'all be working this up now.
Tall people get in the front now.
Oh, I'm in the back.
Yeah, no, you got to get in the front.
Stand back.
You got it, man.
Maybe they can see the top.
I don't know.
Got it right. Come on.
Gotta get the person.
Thank you. I'd like to, at this time, I'd like to invite Councilmember Michael Julian Bond to present a proclamation in recognition of Mrs. Cynthia R. Childs. Mr. Bond.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to ask all those associated with Ms. Childs in the municipal court of the city of Atlanta to please come forward, and any other supporters or well-wishers. I'm doing fine. How are you doing? I'm sitting right here. Everybody, y'all swing around. You stay right here. Hey, how's it going? Hey, how you doing? All right. Hey, how's it going? Come on up, Judge.
I guess I get over here.
Well, I want to say good afternoon to everyone. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, members of council. As we have seen already today, that the city of Atlanta is possessed of great female leadership, of great women who have not only viewed their time at the city of Atlanta as an occupation, but as a career. And that is a career that is often beset in serving the needs of the public. And I would submit to you today that we have such a servant leader here in our midst. And again, regrettably today, she will be leaving us. But it is not without having left her mark upon our court and the citizens of the city of Atlanta. I have a proclamation that reads in pertinent part a celebration of Miss Cynthia R. Childs. Whereas the city of Atlanta is pleased to recognize Cynthia Roan Childs for the immense contribution to the city of Atlanta Municipal Court on the occasion of her retirement after 40 years of service to the city of Atlanta. In 1983, Cynthia Childs began her outstanding career with the city of Atlanta. Ms. Childs served as a special assistant to the judges in the Municipal Court of Atlanta. She served faithfully and with great efficiency and prowess for 4 decades, and upon her retirement, she was the dean of the Municipal Court employees. Ms. Childs was the go-to person for all court issues, as she was known as the court's institutional memory. During her tenure, she assisted thousands of Atlantans to navigate the judicial process and was an inspiration to those who were a part of the city's criminal justice system. Whereas Cynthia Childs was born the oldest of 3 girls in Tuskegee, Alabama, and for years was the only child for some. This fact, she helped to make her time as a leader, made her into the leader she is today. She attended the Tuskegee Institute for both her bachelor's and master's degrees in sociology and counseling, and later began a career as a counselor at Kentucky State University, where she taught and counseled there for 10 years and found much joy and a sense of accomplishments by working with the students. And whereas in addition to numerous professional achievements and recognitions, Cynthia Childs is the mother of 2 daughters and is the proud grandmother of 3. Mrs. Childs is an active member of the First Congregational Church in Atlanta, and over the years she has held many positions at the church, such as Sunday school teacher, trustee, board member, and usher. We celebrate Ms. Childs and recognized her 40 years of dedicated service to the citizens of the city of Atlanta. Her thoughtfulness, her kindness, her dedication, and her position as an irreplaceable asset to the community. And now, therefore, we, the members of the City Council, on behalf of the citizens of the city of Atlanta, hereby proclaim this day, April the 18th, 2022, as Cynthia R. Charles Day in our fair city, and witness thereof, I have set my hand and have called the seal of the city of Atlanta to be hereunto affixed, signed by the President and all members of the Atlanta City Councils. Congratulations, Ms. Child. But like they say on late night TV, but wait, there's more. I'm going to ask Judge Jackson if he would give us a word.
Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot tell you how much Cynthia Childs has meant to the judicial system of the city of Atlanta. She started in the old traffic court across the street, which is now a parking lot, and she has guided the court over almost 4 decades, hundreds of thousands of cases. The city court is visited probably by more people than any other government building in the state of Georgia. And she has trained so many clerks and judges and other court personnel, bailiffs and assistant clerks, and how our court system runs. And because of her leadership, our court has been open since October of 2020, and we have no backlog, but we have a loss, and we've lost this great institutional memory and a dear, dear friend. If you needed a paper, if you needed to know how to do something, if you couldn't figure out the computer system, Lord, she'd been through 4 of them. And even now, after retirement, we can still call her on the phone and she'll tell us how to get out of trouble and stay out of trouble. And Ms. Child, you are an absolute gem. And I don't know how we're surviving without you, but we're doing the best we can. And we thank you so, so much.
Thank you. Councilwoman Boone. Judge Bennett.
Thank you, Ms. Childs, for everything you have meant to the city of Atlanta. And most of all, thank you for having a heart for the people in this city. I remember when the late council member C.T. Martin would always call you for anything he needed, and it would be right there. But most of all, thank you for having a heart for the people of this city. Thank you.
That's right. It's nice to have those kind remarks between 2 golden tigers.
That's right.
Judge Bailey, please.
Good afternoon. I started at municipal court when I was pregnant with my now 10-year-old. And Cynthia Childs told me how to do my job, your job, their job. And when it was a judge retired in the court and she knew I wanted to be a judge, she said, okay, it's time to apply. Well, Ms. Childs, it's time to apply. Now, go home and do the paperwork. So thank you for my job. As Judge Jackson stated, Ms. Childs has shown everyone the way. I'm an example of someone who started as a lawyer and thanks to her, got elevated to a judgeship. The city of Atlanta, we will miss you. If you have changed your mind, you can come back. Thank you guys so much for this proclamation for Ms. Childs. Again, we love you, we miss you. She is my work mom, so I call her all the time.
Mine too.
Thank you.
Anyone else you'd like to have speak? The mic is open. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Cynthia Childs.
I'd like to thank the city council members, Boone, for all of your services and help and gratification and considering me for this proclamation. It's been a long journey, but I kept it going because of respect, knowledge, and a little common sense. And I want to thank everybody and my family and all of my colleagues and friends for coming out and enjoying this day. Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll all miss you, Miss Childs, but don't come back. Make them give you a contract.
That's right. Okay.
Let's do what the city council does best. Let's all gather for a photograph with our honoree. Come on around.
Thank you for being here. This is... Thank you. I'd now like to recognize, let's see, is he in the chamber? Mr. Lewis, who just stepped out. Actually, we'll move to one more proclamation today. Would all of those associated with the Islamic Speakers Bureau of Atlanta please come forward? We heard earlier from Executive Director Samaya Khalifa. Also, I want to recognize Imam Plala Al-Mimin, who is here with us, an old friend of mine and of many of us on the council. The Islamic Speakers Bureau, for those of you who do not know, is an incredible institution in Atlanta that educates and provides cultural programs, including being a sponsor of an iftar that happened last week at City Hall that began a few years ago. And the folks involved with the Islamic Speakers Bureau do incredible work. I first met Samaya probably 15 or more years ago when we were first setting up the Center for Civil and Human Rights. And she and Plina Al-Amin and so many have been so rich in their generosity in helping our community understand Islam, understand the life of Muslims, working across religious lines, and just being incredible collaborators. And so it is an honor for me to read this proclamation that says, the Atlanta City Council, in recognition of the Islamic Speakers Bureau of Atlanta, whereas the The Atlanta City Council recognizes the Islamic Speakers Bureau for helping make the city of Atlanta more welcoming and connected since 2001. And whereas the Islamic Speakers Bureau regularly contributes to the welfare of Atlanta through community service and volunteerism, and whereas the Islamic Speakers Bureau develops and recognizes leadership and prepares young people to become the next generation of leaders for our complicated world, and whereas the Islamic Speakers Bureau celebrates the achievements and accomplishments contributed by Muslims to the city of Atlanta and the state of Georgia, and whereas the ISB's influential Muslims of Georgia are collectively working together towards continuing the legacy and changing the narrative for the Muslim community of Georgia, and whereas the following individuals are counted among the most influential Georgia Muslims, and there are many of them listed. Now, therefore, let it be resolved that we, the members of the Atlanta City Council, on behalf of the citizens of Atlanta, do hereby recognize and commend the Islamic Speakers Bureau of Atlanta and the individuals who have been counted among the 100 influential Georgia Muslims. It is signed by myself and all members of the City Council, and on behalf of a grateful city, I want to say thank you for all of your work that continues on a daily basis to make this city a wonderful place. Thank you so very much. Please join me in honoring the Islamic Speakers Bureau.
On behalf of the Islamic Speakers Bureau, we'd like to present to our President, Council President Doug Shipman, this book of the 100 influential Georgia Muslims, and we thank all of you, thank all the council members for your support in this recognition. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate the recognition and just being here, being part of Atlanta. And I want to recognize my two granddaughters who came, and we're so glad that they joined us, Nora and Zena. And both of them go to the Atlanta Girls School, and Nora is graduating this year, and she got accepted into Harvard and Georgia Tech. And luckily, she's staying and going to Tech, so we're very excited. Thank you. Thank you.
And a quick shout out to our city's chief financial officer, my former student, Mohammed Bella.
Can you please join us up front for a quick picture? Final proclamation today, I'll call forward Councilmember Antonio Lewis to read in a proclamation in recognition of Darrell Cullins Jr.
Thank you, Councilmember Waits, for joining me, and thank you, Tyrese Miller, who will be accepting this award for this proclamation for Darrell Collins Jr., who passed last month. Darrell and I, we share so many things. Before I talk, he went to the same elementary, middle, and high school with me. So did he's 20 years younger than me, but his mom, uncle, they're all my classmates. They've been my friends my entire life. Can y'all hear me now? Proclamation, the Atlanta City Council celebrating the life of Darrell Collins Jr. whereas the Atlanta City Council joins the family, friends, classmates, teachers, loved ones in the Southside community in memorializing the life of Darrell Collins Jr. and whereas Darrell Collins Jr. was a dedicated and intelligent student who attended Cleveland Avenue Elementary, Crawford Long Middle School, and South Atlanta High School, where he was a talent and vibrant percussionist known for his showmanship. And whereas he was known for his love and dedication to his craft and music, so much so that he was inducted into the band of his dreams, the North Carolina A&T Marching Machine. Whereas students and teachers alike attest that Darrell was one of a kind, a considerate person, and always had a smile on his face and a kind word to share. He was loved and cherished by his family, to which he served a light and resounding joy. And whereas Darrell Collins Jr. legacy lives in the heart and minds of those who will forever carry his memory. Now therefore it be resolved that we, the members of the Atlanta City Council, on behalf of the citizens of Atlanta, do hereby celebrate the life of Darrell Collins Jr. and recognize his impacts on his peers at South Atlanta High School and the South Atlanta community. You want to say anything? Okay. We'll step up.
No, that's good.
And we'll be giving his family this award at the South Atlanta Awards Day. The family is going to be coming up to receive it then. Thank you. I think we're about to take a picture with the whole council for Darrell. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now move to remarks by the public. We have 54. We have 55 individuals who have signed up. That is beyond the regularly allotted 60 minutes. Without objection, I would ask the council, through unanimous consent, to extend the time to allow us to hear all those who have signed up. Do I hear any objections? Without objection, Mr. Clerk, would you please sound the count?
Unanimous consent of members present is 15 yeas, 0 nays.
15 yeas, 0 nays. We will have extended time to allow all those who have signed up. Some have been given additional time, so I will notate that as we go along. First up will be Brother Muhammad. Brother Muhammad, if you'd come forward.
Assalamu alaikum. I am Brother Anthony Muhammad. I used to be a Christian. I was a Muslim. I studied the spirituality and connection of law of attraction of the elements of nature. We all are a spark of the Creator. Are we representing the Creator? If we say yes, why is the people on the street living with no houses, have children in jails all over this country, the largest institution of prisons anywhere on the earth? Why is the woman with children don't have affordable houses? Why is the seniors looking for a place? Let's be clear here today. You got the majority members of this council, darker hued people. The majority of citizens of this city are darker people. And you have had the conditions of ACAP, Atlanta Commission on Women's 1993, and we still don't have any structure and legislation for the benefit of the women and children living on the street. I ask you, Ms. Norwood, as I asked you this morning, you have served the council for many years, and we thank you. We appreciate that you could come back in January of 2022 with legislation proposed, and each one of these members of council decided to sign the legislation for the benefit of Buckhead, $14 billion. My brother said, Antonio, he didn't sign it. It's good, but I appreciate people wanting something done in their community. Crime is a problem all over this earth. But why is it that you can have legislation move so quickly? I have legislation to oppose 2017 for Butner Road to be paved. Mr. C.T. Mullen, very influential. And others members of the council passed the legislation. But right today, Mr. Dixon hadn't did anything. He was the chairman of the Transportation Committee for 3 years. Told me I was getting it done, Brother Muhammad, but don't agitate me. Now, he don't remember his ancestor, Frederick Douglass, Mr. Bond. I appreciate that. Frederick Douglass said you agitate till you get resolution. But why? That the Caucasians over in Croatia are dying. But Mr. Biden giving billions and billions of dollars to support them and people living on the streets all over this country. But let's deal with Atlanta since it's the home of the civil rights workers. Mr. Chipman, what are we going to do fair in Atlanta by helping these people? Now, some of them don't want to live off the street. But why? Because they lost the culture and their way to identify with themselves. But I thank you. But as I said, I'm no more a religious man. Spiritual. At Matriarch Hotel. Assalamu alaikum, my sister over the street.
Thank you. Next will be Zeta Stanley Sator.
Greetings, council members. My name is Zeta Stanley Sauter, and I live at the Landmark Condominiums, 215 Piedmont Avenue. I live in a multi-generational building. We live in the downtown hotel district, District 5. Senior citizens and active owners we have senior citizens who are active owners and long-term renters. Our building does not feel secure, and it's not secure. We represent a conglomerate of concerned homeowners who instituted Save the Landmark campaign last March. However, we do not, and I am asking each and every one of you council people, we do not want Airbnb to be grandfathered in our building. Airbnb has disturbed our quiet quality of life. We had a murder on June 26, 2021. It was an Airbnb visitor. Owners that pay a substantial amount of HOA fees monthly, the employees that are at the Airbnb, they don't work for me. They don't work for the owners. They work for Airbnb. Two of the Airbnb owners, one is chair of the board of the HOA board, but they do not live at the Landmark. And on top of that, the ordinance says they must live at the landmark. That must be their resident. That is not their resident. Their information goes to their resident. I live at the landmark. Marijuana smells, loud partying, music, a nasty building. All of these things are tolerated daily. People check in and out of our building at any time of day or night. It just doesn't matter. We have parking issues. The bylaws and the declaration of the landmark are not followed by anybody. They don't even follow Robert's Rules of Order. Okay?
I'm sorry,
So
your time is
the
up.
building is dirty. The construction goes on without city permits. They are not getting permits from the city of Atlanta. The last thing I just want to say, the ordinance has to be followed. I cannot drive in my car and not have a seatbelt on. So if the ordinance is there, that's the law, and it should be followed. Airbnb has disturbed my quality and everybody else who lives there in that building, quality of life. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Bakhtiari?
Mrs. Sauter? Hi. You're in District 5, you said?
Yes, I am.
Then I'm your representative. My policy director is going to come in and get your information so that I can follow up with you, okay?
I would love that to happen.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me just say, as I will probably do every week, I am sure that I'm going to mispronounce some names. Please take that as just a sign of my trying very hard, even though I may not get it right. Next up, we have Judy Clement.
Good afternoon, Council President and Council members. I am a native of Zeta, and I also live at the landmark 215 Piedmont Avenue. I read your ordinance, and one question I have, I don't know that you fully understand the impact of Airbnb in a condominium high-rise versus a residential house. There are 200 condominiums in our building. 94 of them are Airbnb units. 38 of them belong to one person. So we have investors in our building who do not live there. They don't see the havoc that we go through on a daily basis. Some of them don't even live in Georgia, and they come visit maybe once a month, or they have somebody, one of the other investors, look at their units. We have to have a police officer on residence every Friday and Saturday night because of the problems in the building. I'm on the 9th floor. There are 10 units on each floor, and I am the only full-time resident on that floor, and I've lived in the building for 24 years. So I've really seen it change. I have had to call the police more since 2016 than I have in my lifetime to come take care of parties, loud noise, pot smoke. I can stand in my living room window and maybe 1:30 in the morning, because I'm a night person, I can literally watch the drug deals being made in the parking lot. And you call the police, and granted, sometimes they can get there to stop it, sometimes they can't. But to just see that, and then if you go and look at our parking lot the next day, you will just see all the trash, you will see the needles, you will see all the remnants of what happened the night before. I understand that people think that maybe Airbnbs in this city bring revenue to the city. Well, I can guarantee you the people that are staying at the landmark are not doing that. Anybody that shows up with 4 and 5 kids and their luggage is a black garbage bag and not a suitcase is not bringing money into the city of Atlanta.
The time has expired.
Okay, thank you for your time.
Mr. Lewis?
I just wanted to ask the stats, and I apologize, you gave us some stats. What were the numbers? My colleague, you were writing the numbers down. We heard you say 38 units owned by one person?
Yes.
And how many total units are in the building? And this is
There's 200 units.
and this is a senior, this is a legacy, this is a...
It's a multi-family,
multi-generation.
There's older people in there, there's younger people in there.
I'm scared. It got me nervous. So I appreciate you coming today and us hearing from folk, regular people that live there, affected by it. Thank you for being a person that lived there, and thank you for coming to talk to us today.
Our oldest resident is 93.
And did y'all get bused down here today? No. Did y'all get an email that told y'all to come today? Did y'all get a text message or a phone call, robocall that said, hey, go to City Hall? No. So you came on your own?
Yes.
Oh, I hear you. Thank you.
Oh, and our former property manager is here.
I just know I hear you. Thank you.
Councilmember Bakhtari.
Yes, both of you, Ms. Judy as well, Ms. Clements, right behind you, you'll see my policy director. That's Patrick. He's going to come talk to you right now and get your information because I'm your representative so that we can start sorting that out, okay? Thank you.
Next up is Waukesha Howe.
Good afternoon, City Council. First of all, I want to start by saying, Andre Dickens, if you're in this building, come see Ms. Howe. We need more cars off the streets. We need better sidewalks. Mayor Norwood, I thank you for coming in and taking care of your citizens because you came directly in and said, hey, public safety is an issue. But guess what? It's an issue all over the city. And we want something done now. We tired of seeing y'all take pictures and stuff. We want something done now. Just like y'all afraid to come out of y'all home, we afraid too on the south side and the west side. So we want something done. Also, we want something done about black maternal health. We know African Americans are dying every day in this city, all over the world. And I also touch on housing. Grove Park, $10 million. That better be an error. That better be an error. $10 million for a house. We got people who are constantly being pushed out of the city of Atlanta. I know 2 parents living in a hotel right now, been there for over almost 2 years. I know families have to go 2 hours now away from here just to live. I was born and raised here. And if I had to come down here, that means it's a problem. And we need some affordable housing. Andre, you said that affordable housing was part of your policy, or some of you said the same thing. Now, I know some of y'all don't been on this council long enough, and we're tired of electing people who do not do what's in the best interest of the citizen of Atlanta. Like I said, I was born and raised here. Byron, I'm from the west side. I am. You and Matt Westmoreland served on the school board. Our families don't have nowhere to go. And we want them to stay in this city and enjoy all the amenities that's coming here. They should not have to travel just to get a good education, good housing. They should be able to stay in this city that we call Atlanta, the city too busy to hate. We want to stay here too. Our property taxes are going through the roof because of all this stuff being built around here. And we can't enjoy it because we getting displaced. Do something now. Andre, come see me.
Thank you. Next we have Shelley Dean.
I'm here to speak in favor of the STR ordinance that's being considered today. Let me explain to you the problems that I have had with this ordinance and its registration requirements. I have operated a very quiet 5-star Airbnb outside of my home for 5 years, and I tried to obtain a license under this new ordinance. The online registration process requires me to register a short-term rental in my home in order to register one outside of my home. Failing to do this automatically results in my application being kicked out and not even being considered by the city. I contact the city about this, and they explain the ordinance requires me to register my personal home before I can register a place outside of my home. Well, I've never had a short-term rental in my home, and I don't intend to have one, and I explain this to the city. I only want to license my current out-of-home short-term rental. Despite this, I was advised to register for a home short-term rental anyway to meet the qualifications for getting a license for my present out-of-home short-term rental. The fact that the city would advise me to apply for and notify my neighbors of a license that I do not want and never intend to use demonstrates the city's problems and confusion regarding this ordinance. It simply doesn't work. Furthermore, denying people who can't have short-term rentals inside their home from licensing one outside their home seems like discrimination. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Lewis.
And to be clear, you say you want to, this is for your out-of-home short-term rental, right? Not, are you comfortable with having people stay in your home as well? Are you comfortable in that? Are you comfortable with that? For your Airbnb, like having people stay in your home as well? Most people don't even have homes big enough for that. Okay, I'm just listening. Can you? Okay, thank you. So she just basically said she don't feel comfortable because Airbnb is in.
Thank you. Next we'll have Serrana Kanor.
Hello. Hi. My name is Serrana. I support a tenant bill of rights as organized by the Housing Justice League. I'm a member of trans homeless youth in Atlanta, and I want to clarify that I'm not the face of the homeless here. The majority of Atlanta's homeless are black, and a large proportion of Atlanta's black queer community is housing and food insecure. It's never been easy to be homeless, especially now in a recession. Overdoses are rising. Suicides, especially among trans youth, and especially trans youth of color, continue to rise. The homeless are harassed daily by abusers and murderers with badges that we call police, and they get their legitimacy from this city hall. This democracy is a farce. Yes. The city government and the landlords and the CEOs who control the city government have not only proven themselves entirely incapable of providing for the people of Atlanta, but at direct odds and openly hostile to the working and poor people of Atlanta. I and many neighbors have been helped by groups that stand for poor people, groups like Housing Justice League, Trans Housing Coalition, and the Free 99 Fridge. They have kept me alive and others alive as well. We will never have prosperity for the working classes, for the disabled, and the